keep our facilities as nice as they are. We're really here to celebrate the lifelong work in our community of Milt Goldband. Milt was 40 years plus a volunteer, just about every level of baseball and basketball that you could play in our community between Morris Township, Morristown, Morris Plains. Really was a significant factor. In recent years, you could also be found at the Mayo Theater as an usher helping out. Anywhere where anybody needed a volunteer is where Milt was. We did provide some information about Milt, and I'll also say I thank Wendy Goldband for providing lots of information and background for us, and I'd like to just point out where Wendy and Milt.
I'm down here.
Okay. Wendy's over there, and her brother Dennis is here. We welcome them, and we welcome all the friends, and maybe many of you played for Milt in various sports organizations. So I know we're getting a little bit of rain, so we're not going to go too deep. I'm not going to read all this information, but I do have sort of a personal remembrance. In the late 1970s, I was director of Recreation and Parks. My name is Bill Folsch, by the way, if you don't know who I am. I was director of Recreation for the town of Morristown, and basketball and baseball were big sports for us in terms of our administration in those days. And there were so many names that I could recall from those days. Many of them are mentioned in the press statement we put out. But I'll always remember Milt. I'll always remember two other individuals who are always on me about basketball, about improving the basketball programs. Is Milt, Doc Joseph, who is our chairman of the Park Recreation Advisory Board in Morristown, and Doc Bachata. If I didn't get a call from one of those guys, Keith knows, right? If I didn't get a call from one of those guys every day, I figured it was a good day for us. So, I do want to introduce some special guests here today, and of course we have Mayor Dorothy, Deputy Mayor Bud Ravitz, Deputy Mayor for Public Outreach, Kathy Wilson, Committeeman Jeff Brazel, and Committeeman Donna Garina. So we thank them for coming out today. I also want to point out we do have some members of our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board here today. I see Nicole Pataluga. I see Kathy Highland, who I know that Kathy knew Milt very well. And Ed Thornton is also here. And Pam Watson just came in. I'm glad Pam made it. Pam was heading over to Frelinghuysen School, but we deterred her last night to come on over here. So at this point, I just wanted those remembrances of Milt from the early days and his community leadership, something special that we all remember, and I'm sure you all have your own personal remembrances of his coaching, his mentorship over the years, and just his pride in our community. And that pride had no boundary. And I think, dedicating this particular field in his name today is key, because this is our only Babe Ruth-sized baseball field in the township. And Milt had a lot to do with making this happen and bringing Babe Ruth baseball and American Legion baseball after his many years in working with the Little League. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over for some remarks from Mayor Dorothy.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you everyone for coming out this morning. I grew up in Morris Township, and I'm a product of the Little League system here, product of Babe Ruth and the American Legion, and these are three leagues that Milt dedicated so much time of his life to, for young generations to develop, to express themselves through sports, and to teach them about commitment and how to really focus your skills and do something productive with them. First, I want to thank the Goldband family, of course, for coming out today and working with us so closely over the past few months. It's taken a bit to get to this point. Right here. Is this better? Thank you.
Thank you.
But thank you for all of your work with us, with the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, for making today happen. As someone who's lived here myself for so long in the community, and other people who've lived here for a long time, we know that the township doesn't take the vetting process for honoring community members with dedications for fields lightly. We reserve these honors for those whom we don't want to just honor, but also who we want future generations to aspire towards. Milt's legacy in our community is undoubtable. First, his service to our country. His service to the broader public is exemplary, having enlisted in the Army during the Korean War, later leading local Boy Scout troops, volunteering at the Soup Kitchen, the Red Cross, the Morristown Jewish Center, and serving his fellow veterans by donating his time at Lions Veterans Center. Now, another reason, as we all know, why we're dedicating this field after Milt and why it's so fitting is his 35 years of volunteer service to our sports and athletic communities. He started coaching Little League in 1963 and then on to Babe Ruth for another 15 years, bringing teams to state championships 8 times. If coaching wasn't enough, Milt took on the role as president of the league and helped found a new division for younger players to get started in Babe Ruth. He coached Legion Ball as well, and now, like I said, having had the opportunity to play Legion Ball myself and having that experience, I know how much of an impact it had on those players during the summer and developing them for high school ball. I don't want to stop with baseball. He also spent a lot of time with basketball too, coaching at the neighborhood house and later at Bailey Ellard and becoming athletic director. And if coaching wasn't good enough, again, he was exceptional. What's exceptional is showing his legacy through coaching, and he had players that went to the Detroit Pistons, the Minnesota Twins, and the Texas Rangers. Lastly, for those who weren't lucky enough to know Milt through sports, they probably knew him as part of one of Morristown's oldest standbys, Gold's on Morris Street. Milt was an exceptional person. He dedicated countless hours of his life to support our youngest generations. Our community is in Milt and the Goldband family's debt for the service he provided to so many and the time he spent away from home to be with our families. I'm truly honored to stand with you all this morning and dedicate this field to his memory. Thank you so much for this time, and I'll turn it over to Committeeman Deputy Mayor Bo Rabbit.
I typically don't like using microphones because can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Because I can't do 2 things at once. Hold the microphone and read. So good morning, everybody, and thank you all for coming. And I'm sorry that the weather is not cooperating with us, but we are making the best of it. I want to thank Bill Folsch and his team for putting this all together and providing the cover. When I first saw the list of Milt Goldband's 40 years of dedicated community service, I was in awe. Milt's service to our community is incredible, almost superhuman. Selfless is an understatement. It's inspiring. We are all humbled by Milt's life's work. When I used the word inspiring, I meant it. I can imagine a new acronym, WWMD. What would Milt do? So to all you keyboard warriors out there, I say I know what Milt would do because he would already be out there doing it. He'd be out there serving his community and make life better for all of us. Be like Milt. Thank you.
I'll try the Canadian rabbit's route and do speak over top of the ring. I did want to also mention another important official with Ray has been a guiding light in athletics in our community for so many years, was a friend of Milt's, and really brought this to a package for us to get engaged with the Goldband family to make this happen today. So thank you, Ray. Much appreciated for all that you've done. And I'm sure you're going to go do a football game in the rain somewhere today. Sure.
On the way.
You're going to, well, that's right. You're going to the wedding. At this point, I'd like to bring up Wendy Goldband to talk about her dad.
I can project pretty well too. Should I do it this way or the microphone? Big mouth, like my dad, right? Okay. I really, honestly, we're overwhelmed by all of you who came out today in this lovely day. It really means a lot to us and very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank Mayor Giorgi. Where are you? There you are. Bill, Tim Quinn, is he here? There we are, Tim. The Township Parks and Rec Department, and Ray Mossy for making this possible. My brother and I are just really honored by it. My father would be over the moon to receive such incredible recognition, and even more to see all of you who showed up today. He loved athletics and the value they gave to the people who participate in them. Of course, he also loved the challenge of strategizing and winning a game, but more than anything, he loved his players and working with them and teaching them the value of dedication, hard work, and striving to be the best you can be. He'd be out here right now working you guys. The last several years of Dad's life, he and my mom moved down to Florida, but he could never really let go his love of volunteering, something he and my mom did in so many aspects of Morristown life, but especially in baseball. Dad loved to recount stories about games and players during his coaching days. They were among his fondest memories, truly, because what he did meant so much to him. But the impact that he had on the boys playing for him meant even more. He truly knew and remembered the name of every one of you who played for him all those 35 years. It was really quite amazing because there were some other things he couldn't remember at all. My dad, however, would not take full credit for his coaching. He never ever spoke about those years without always crediting my mother, Eve, as the reason he was able to do what he did. So, Mom, this dedication is also for you. Dad would not have it any other way. All right, so you're all standing, so this sort of screws up my speech. But, so instead of standing, with the men who played for my father, who are here today, whether it was in basketball or baseball, raise your hands. I want to give all of you a very special thank you for bringing incredible joy to my father's life. There was nothing he loved more than being with you all, except for one thing. He loved seeing how so many of you grew up into successful, compassionate human beings. That to him was the absolute pinnacle of possibly having played some small role in impacting your lives. Thank you again for being here. We are, my brother Dennis and I, so honored you made the effort to celebrate with us. And of course, we are all very lucky to have been a part of my father, Milt Goldband's life. Now, lovely day out, but if you'd like to run the bases in honor of my father, or if anybody would have anything they'd like to say or add, I don't think you guys mind. If you want to come up and prolong the stay in the rain, feel free. But if not, thank you so much. Okay, come on up, Ray. This is Raymond.
I had actually, can you hear me? I had actually said I wasn't going to say anything today, but when I woke up and it was raining, 2 weeks ago I was at Morristown Beard. I was going to be the PA announcer for the football game, and Dave Whiteman was there. And we were talking about this day and everything else, and Dave said, Twin Oaks is a perfect spot. He said, I remember going down there one day, it was raining, and, no other Babe Ruth team was going to be practicing, but obviously, Mr. Goldband's team would be practicing. So, and then Dave said his mother and Mr. Goldband went to school together. So anyway, when I went up to the booth, I'm sitting there for a second, I said, it's going to rain today. And the reason I think it's going to rain today, and I hope I'm politically correct and everything else, but I think today's the rain is Tears of Joy by Mr. Goldband, Mrs. Goldband, and all the other people up there with him that they had an impact on. And I think it's also a little bit of some tears of sadness for Mr. Goldband, because people don't realize how he integrated Morristown, Morris Township, and Morris Plains between our African-American friends and our white friends when I went to school, and how he integrated Bailey Ellard. And I think Mr. Goldband's up there. He's very, very happy today, but a little part of him's a little sad, because we don't get along as a country and as a nation like we should. And that's the only reason I'm saying anything, because I think Mr. Goldband has given us a sign today. And one of that signs is, like, when he still had practice, when all the other teams weren't because it was raining, he's showing us that if we want to do something, we can do it, because we're still holding this and it's raining. And we had a great amount of people from all different walks of life and nationalities and religions and everything else. And I think we have to learn as a group here and as a nation that if we want to do something, we can do it, and we better get our act together. So, hail to Mr. Goldband.
This is Charlie Brown. He and I are twins.
You know, I never got a chance to play on Mr. Goldband's team.
Yeah, neither did I.
But I remember getting beat by Mr. Goldband's team. But the thing about it is he not only supported the players that played for him, but he supported all the athletes. It really didn't make any difference whether you played for him, whether you played with him, whether you played against him. He was there to support you. And I was telling Wendy earlier, one of the best things I thought that happened was Facebook. That's bad in a lot of ways, but this way was good, because all these guys, like Mr. Goldband, they did all these things for us when we were younger, and we didn't recognize it because we were little kids just growing up. And all of a sudden, when you get older, we finally had a chance, a lot of us, to get with them on Facebook and actually thank them while they were still there for all the things we've done for them. And so we thank them here again now.
Well, I guess it's time to unveil the field dedication sign at this point. So I'm going to ask Wendy and Dennis and our mayor to join us
Can we
out.
bring up some of my cousins who are here also?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of the family that would like to be up there.
Tim, can you just watch that tent and all the water about to come down?
I'm gonna step in at the last second. Otherwise, I'm gonna get a big hood.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing it because it's too short.
You want to take the umbrellas down for a second, or?
Oh, sure.
Probably.
I'm melting.
Countdown.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Pass me the soap.
Beautiful.
All right, you good?
That's right, yeah. Went to a lot of trouble to set that up.
Yeah, my brother's both two of my younger brothers.
Dennis?
Played basketball.
I don't know. Dennis is right here.
Oh my God, how you doing?